It's fantastic to be able to record the two piano concertos now and the Capriccio Brillant in collaboration with Deutschlandfunk, with my label Ondine, and with the fantastic Orchestre, Chambre de Paris. What an incredible spirit of music making. I just love this group so deeply. Then, it's like a family photo album when you record a CD. It's of course only a snapshot of a moment of what we do in this very moment, and we'll do lots of things in the future, hopefully. Okay, la même chose. But it's still really valuable to have this, especially with people and with musicians that you feel that close to. Particularly this music that I've loved for nearly all my life. Well, I've always loved Mendelssohn's music as far as I can remember, and as a child my first teacher introduced me to lots of his piano works. Of course, I played songs without words, I played Rondo Capriccioso. Later on I fell deeply in love with Variations Sérieuses. So there are lots of works that I already had a very close connection with. But it was only later on, also through hearing some of his chamber music, the octet and things like that, where I really just understood just what a genius he is. Also the piano concertos, symphonies, of course. It's such a joy to work on his music. It's like he is this. It's like fresh, clean water. It's completely refreshing in every way. It's got the clarity and also the fragility of Mozart. For me, also the genius of some of these melodic ideas. And at the same time, it's got the depth of some of Brahms. And so there's some really deep connection between the classical side and the deeply German romantic side already towards Schumann and Brahms and so on, and also quite visionary, but deeply poetic music. I always feel that fairy tales come to life, and it's not just the fairies, it's not just the nice characters. There are also the gnomes and the spooky things, so there's deep drama in the second piano concerto. I find there's also a sense of dies irae in the first movement, some real fury and anger, and even more so than the slow movement is calming and soothing. And actually the psychology is a little bit similar in the two concertos, of quite some drama in the first movements, very soothing, lullaby-like second movements, and then last movements that just enjoy life. And one would imagine spending an evening with Mendelssohn and drinking beer could have been a very nice event. Well, it's fantastic to conduct Mendelssohn. I loved conducting some of his symphonic works also. It's quite hard, quite demanding, because it takes the same kind of reduction in a way that conducting Mozart requires. So if you do too much, it'll show straight away that something goes wrong, or something isn't really understood, or some of the fragility gets lost, or somebody doesn't understand the phrasing. And at the same time, it needs to be very emotional and very poetic. And in the slow movements, I always find it is a bit like songs without words. It's very personal and very intimate. And to find this kind of intimacy and poetry in such a group, as well as then the wild storms and the fun dance in the last movements, that's really special when that happens. All the great concertos of the great composers are essentially chamber music. So it's a bigger sense of who's got the main voice, who is leading, who's following, who is helping, and who is giving the character by something underneath, who is the engine running, and so there's a constant mix of things. And this sense of chamber music, of course, in such a situation of play conduct is even more immediate, maybe, because one has to work it with a group really as chamber music. And I also love it that in this group, in the Orchestre Chambre de Paris, there's this sense of that we built this together. There are also lots of ideas coming from the orchestra, great ideas that I am very happy to incorporate, you know. And so it's really, it's not just a pianist saying this is what's going to happen, but it's really a group effort. It's really an effort of love. With any recording, I'd love for the people to fall completely in love with the music. I mean, I love these pieces, and we love these pieces with the orchestra, and it's an unbelievable joy to record them now. I would love it if some people maybe also fell in love with this incredible music that actually isn't played too often. I mean, on a personal note, I might also add that, 6 months ago, I had a diagnosis of cancer, and I had 12 chemotherapies since, and I was told that maybe I won't be able to play the piano. So that 6 months later, after 12 chemotherapies, I'm here playing all these notes of the Mendelssohn Piano Concerto is also quite a feast of life for me.